in our fifth live session, fifth live expert session. So hope you guys enjoying the time from the last month. So here we are again with our two experts for our session tonight here for 2 hours. They will be sharing their experience with the property journey. So welcome you all. And as you know that we have a global audience as always, and we have live YouTube going on currently and also live Instagram. So just make sure that we are live. There are rules as always. So the rules are keep your cell phone off, just because we are going to be sharing lots and lots of information. So make sure that it is off and you're not getting distracting yourself. So mute your mic unless you're speaking, because it's very important. So you're not disturbing the session. And if you're comfortable, just switch on your video. So we know that we just get interacted with each other. And make sure you are taking notes, because lots of information are going to be shared here tonight. And for any question, use that chat box. By the way, if you can hear me well, just type yes in the chat box, so we know the chat box is working and also the audio is working fine. So let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Great, great, great. Awesome, guys. So yeah, great. That's good. So if in any, due to any technical reason, if your call gets disconnected, then you can rejoin by using the same link. And you will receive this presentation and also the recording by email within 24 hours. So here we are, guys, again in the fifth session. So, and also there will be survey at the end. So let us know how we did tonight. So next slide, Jito. Yeah, so here is the event agenda for tonight. These are the two experts with us, Mark and Gitari, and they are going to be sharing their journey, their property journey, because they are coming from a different background and now they have started their journey as entrepreneurs in the property development and investment. So it will be a really good, experience, a case study kind of thing for us as well, because we are also learning, we are also new. But yes, it's really good to share and get that knowledge from the actual property investors. And there will be question and answer session for both of these experts. And then there will be this announcement for the next live event expert. And yes, there will be vote of thanks. So stay tuned, guys, stay connected, and take lots and lots of notes, and let us know at the end how we did tonight. I think after this, Jito will introduce us for our next expert. So Jito, over to you. You're on mute.
Yeah, thanks, Pari. Thanks for that warm welcome. In UK, it's really windy and cold right now, and in some part of UK there's storm. So you have definitely given us all of us a warm welcome, Pari. So thank you for that. And guys, I'm really excited for this evening. In fact, last month we did an announcement that Sean will be joining us this evening. Unfortunately, for personal reasons, especially health-related reasons in his family, he is unable to join this evening. And that's where 𝐚𝐳𝐢 and Mark, they both came up and came front and like willingly came together and said, we will share our property journey on Project Possible platform. And it's an honor, it's a privilege for me to be associated with Mark and 𝐚𝐳𝐢. But before I introduce our speakers for this evening, let me have to kind of mention that Pari, Kushal, Suja, Robin, Neera, all of us, our Project Possible family, we are definitely committed to bring the best of the best from the industry month on month and serve our community with the learning, knowledge, insight, whatever it can help for you to make it possible to enter into this industry where there is unlimited potential. and huge possibilities. But it comes with patience and focus. And that kind of relates me to Mark. Now, Mark is our first speaker for this evening. Now, Mark, let me just, yeah. So I know Mark for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. In fact, I met Mark for the first time in one of the property training course, which we attended together. And I never knew that our friendship and relationship and everything will grow the way it has grown. So I always thank God for bringing right people, good people in our life, because life is too short and we don't want wrong people to come and just take away a lot of your time on this earth. So I'm blessed to have Mark in my journey. So Mark is the director of Gitari Property Shield. Mark has been associated from a very young age. He's been into retail business. He's been always thinking like an entrepreneur. So he will definitely share his story on that side. But he works for Canon UK. He's associated with Canon UK, and he looks after the logistic side of that business. So over the last 4 years, he has definitely gained a lot of experience in that side. But he was always passionate about property, and that's what really connected us. And from kind of that initial training we attended together, and now we are doing like projects and things like that together. So this is the first time Mark has come to a virtual platform, and he's going to share his challenges, his journey so far. And I really get inspired from Mark. In fact, not only me, in my family, pretty much everyone is inspired by Mark. My son, who's 7 years old, he is also kind of keep asking like how Mark does this, how he works, what he does. And I can see that Andrew is also seeing Mark as a role model. And I'm sure in coming years, Mark will inspire a lot of people, not only in just property, in every aspects of life, what he's going to do. So we are really excited to have Mark on this virtual platform. So on that note, Mark, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jito, for the kind words. It's really, really appreciated. And thank you to the whole Project Possible team for inviting me to share a bit about my journey this evening on your platform. I don't take it for granted for you guys reaching out to me. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all keeping well and safe during these stormy conditions we have at the minute in the UK. So as Jito said, my name is Mark Gitari, and I'll just be sharing a little bit about why I decided to get into property and the challenges I've faced so far. Let's just bear with me 1 second. Okay. So as mentioned, I'll just give a brief introduction about myself, why I decided property was the best investment, and also why I wanted to become a property developer for myself, what the plans for Gitari Property Shield are for the future, what we offer, and how we can connect. And at the end, I'll be hosting a short Q&A session. So a little introduction about myself. So my name is Mark Gitari. I'm 23 years old. I was born in London. I still live in London, but with a Kenyan background. So my parents are from Kenya. When I finished school in 2017 now, I knew I didn't want to go to university. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I always was the kid in school who used to sell sweets or sell whatever I could to make some extra money. So I didn't think university would have been the way for me. And I was always interested in property or in any sort of business. So what I decided to do, I decided to look for apprenticeship, and the opportunity to join Canon in the UK came about. And I've been working at Canon now since 2018. I'm actually celebrating 4 years next week at Canon. So as I mentioned, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit, and I've always had a keen eye for property. But one day during a lunch break, one of my colleagues at Canon mentioned to me about a training property course, which he'll be attending over the next weekend. So I said, I'll come along, because I always knew I wanted to get into property long term, but I just didn't know how I'll do it. So when I went on to this course, firstly, it was a free course. So I was like, I'll attend, because there was no cost to me to go. It was just costing me my time. So I attended the free course that weekend, and I was amazed by, firstly, the amount of people there looking to take action in property, but also the energy in the room and how sort of simple they made this journey out to be. So I actually then paid for more advanced training later on in that same year. Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties. So when I paid for that advanced training, I was really motivated. There was a lot of energy in the room, and I knew property would be something that I would really want to get into. Now, the training was over 3 days. Like I mentioned, there was a lot of energy, but there was one challenge I faced significantly when I came out of that training environment. Whilst I picked up quite a lot of knowledge, unfortunately, once I came back home, I was sort of all by myself. All that energy from the room had disappeared. So it was up to me to be able to find the motivation and also to find the skills and knowledge to be able to put into practice what I learned over the 3 days. And this is where I started to struggle, because I didn't have any team around me or anyone else who was involved in property who I could speak to. And this is where I really like the platform of Project Possible, because it's a community where everyone could come together and ask questions about their different struggles and success within the property journey. So how was Gitari Property Shield established? Well, I've been, as Jita mentioned earlier, I've been connected with him for 3 or 4 years now. We actually did meet on one of those advanced training courses a few years ago. And we've actually been working on a few other projects in the time being. And just before Christmas this year, we met up and we discussed our property journeys, what our goals and ambitions were, and our ambitions aligned together. And we decided to start Gitari Property Shield to provide quality accommodation throughout the UK. So why property? Why did I want to become an investor and a developer? Well, firstly, one of the main reasons is cash flow. So cash flow is the idea of each month you make money from your property investments. What I like about property cash flow is you're not capped. More units you have, the more cash flow that you can have. Whereas, unfortunately, within a job, no matter how many more hours you put in, you're capped on how much you can earn. Whereas with property, there's no cap on that. Secondly, property is an appreciating asset. Over time, the price of property will increase, and they usually say every 8 to 10 years, property prices double in value. And this leads me on to my third point, where property, you're able to create generational wealth. So whereas I can earn cash flow today and for the next few years, when I pass on, I could pass over the assets of property onto my next generation. And also, people always need a place to live. Unfortunately, in this country, you're not going to get any more space, and space is limited. So people always need a place to live. And if we can provide tenants with comfortable, quality accommodation, then they'll always want to come and stay in our properties. So what are the plans for the future for Gitari Property Shield? So Gitari Property Shield was actually launched just under a week ago. So we're just in the initial stages of fully setting up the company. But our first project will be a buy-to-let conversion into a multi-let HMO. So last week, Friday, I was actually lucky enough to be invited onto one of Project Possible's live projects that they have going on at the minute in Coventry, and attached to some of the pictures. So we hope to complete at Gitari Property Shield. We hope to complete on a project within the next year. We'll probably do 1 or 2 of these sort of projects within the £250,000 mark. And then within three years, our plan is to move to bigger developments, which would be valued at £1 million plus. Then within 5 years, the next project that we plan to work on will be land development. So this will be buying a piece of land and developing either houses or flats or apartments for people to live in. And then the long-term aim for Gitari Property Shield is to surpass 100 million in gross development value. So this will mean all our development deals that we would have done in the 10-year periods coming up to in the 10-year period will be valued at over £100 million. So what do we offer at Gitari Property Shield, and what do we do for our investors? So we beat current rates of inflation. So I'm sure if a lot of you have been watching the news or hearing the news recently, there's been a lot of talk about how the inflation rates are going through the roof. At Gitari Property Shield, we're able to beat these rates of inflation whilst also being able to offer higher rates of interest than the high street banks. Unfortunately, most high street banks only offer you 0 point something percentage on your money. And I personally know anything starting with a 0 point isn't good. It'll be a completely hands-free investment. So at Gitari Property Shield, we'll be doing all the groundwork. All you have to do is invest your capital and you'll get a return after a fixed period. You don't have to get involved in any of the negotiations, any of the building work. We'll be doing all the work and we'll be in constant communication with you in order to keep you updated on each project that we'll be working on. And then you'll get your fixed return after the guaranteed periods. And most importantly, that your investment will be secured against the assets, which I think will give people peace of mind. If you know your investment is secured against the property, you'll be able to rest easy to know there is something physically there in order for, so you know where your money is going to. So how can we help you? So we would love to connect with you across all social media platforms. Gitari Properties is our handle on most social media platforms. And we'll be posting more content over the coming days, the coming weeks, months, and years. So we'd really love if you would follow our journey, and we hope to inspire you and also to be able to work with you in the future. So that was just a very short introduction to myself, how I established Gitari Property Shields, the challenges I've had at starting out in property, and our plans for the future. So thank you all very much for taking the time to listen to me this evening. I hope I've added some value to you all. And I'll hand it now to Kushal to host the Q&A session.
Thank you very much, Mark. It was really a nice presentation, and it's nice to see the journey which you are taking and moving from professional environment fully into property, and the things which you have in the pipeline also sounds amazing. So it will be nice, guys, everyone, to take this opportunity, because Mark has also started from scratch. He did not have any property experience. He did some trainings, but you can take this opportunity and ask him questions about his property journey and any questions related to property. If you are a beginner and you also want to start investing into property, how you can get involved. So guys, stage is yours. Mark is here to answer all the questions. So fire away. So I had few questions before people are thinking about their questions and these questions. Maybe we can start off this question and answers, and maybe I can start this question and answer with one question. So you mentioned earlier in your slides that you always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and you had this entrepreneur spirit when you were in schools selling things and making a profit, hopefully, from that. So with regards to these training courses, and I know there are a lot of trainers out there selling training courses, and they're like costly trainings. So the trainings which you had, like maybe because there are a lot of new peoples as well in here who might also have this experience, people approaching them with trainings and trying to sell them a training course. So maybe it will be nice for you to share your experiences, and if it is good or bad, the trainings which you have done, like your experience, if it is worth doing, And if it is, if the trainings which you have done, like even though you took a lot of knowledge away, what difficulties you had after you were left alone in your own environment. So maybe if you can share a little bit of like good points, bad points about this, so it will be really good for the audience.
Absolutely, and that's a great question. I know a lot of people do talk about training events. Should they do them? Should they not? For me personally, I really enjoyed the training. I learned a lot, and I think in any industry that you're in, whether it be property or your professional job, at some point you'll have to do some sort of training. Now, what I would firstly recommend is maybe starting off with any free courses that I put on. So like I mentioned, when I first started out with property training, I just attended a few free courses to get a feel of how the training structure would be. Would it be conducive to how I like to learn? And if it is, great, you can go ahead, maybe if you feel comfortable, to more advanced training. If not, you can, there's so much content online at the minute on YouTube, the Project Possible YouTube channel, there's books out there. So there is quite a lot of free information for people to digest. One thing I didn't mention when I was talking about property training, and which is a really good point, is the networking that you get when you're at these events, whether it be a free event or a more advanced training course. I probably wouldn't be here on this call this evening if I didn't attend one, because that's how I got to meet Jito. So then the networking that you get is invaluable. That's one of the real good strong points of attending a training course. In terms of like maybe not a disadvantage but a challenge, like I mentioned, there's quite a lot of energy, there's quite a lot of excitement when you're in the room, when you're surrounded with like-minded people, but then it's being able to transfer that back to when you go home. So I found that quite a big struggle. I was in a room with 300-400 people who all had similar goals, who were all really ambitious. But then I came back home, I went back to work, and it was sort of just getting back into that same grind of waking up, going to work, not having those same people who had the same ambitions around me. And that's something I would, if I could go back in time, I would maybe join groups where there's more like-minded people who are interested in the same thing. So in example, property, just so that I could keep that energy high. Whereas if you're going from a training course, coming back down to your normal environment, you don't have, you're sort of missing out on those people to keep you motivated and to keep you going. So I hope that's answered the question just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. There were some great points which you mentioned. So maybe what do you think about like joint venture? So that might also be a good starting point, like because you are out of the training, you are so motivated while you are at the training. And then when you come out, like you said, like you are alone in this all environment. And then if you have somebody like a partner who is having the knowledge and who is having the same drive and everything, maybe joint venture might be a good option where you can team up so that in this journey, you're not an alone person. So you can leverage on the other people's experience. One people can take care of the funding and other person can take care, like use his experience and knowledge. And if he has the build team, maybe that can also be a good option, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's how I started Gitari Property Shield. So Gitari Property Shield is a joint venture. And the beautiful thing about joint ventures is a joint venture is you're not just relying on one person's skill set. You have multiple skill sets. So each person brings something different to the table. You have someone who's holding you accountable. There is no slacking off. And so like I said, when you're coming from the training course, coming back to your home environment, it's difficult. But when you have a joint venture partner, someone who's able to pick you up when you're down, when maybe you have some challenges within your property business, it's really, really helpful.
Perfect. Yeah. Great. Thank you very much, Mark. I think now questions are starting to come in. So we have a question from Arjun. Can I ask you what was the motivation or motive for you to start your journey in property and sourcing?
Okay, another great question.
You said so.
Yeah, it's mainly just developments at the minute, but
Yeah.
no, I'll answer the question. My main motivation, well, like I mentioned, from young, I've always known that entrepreneurship was for me. I was selling sweets in school. I was actually importing some sort of iPhone charger and selling those in school. So I was importing them for £1, selling them for £20.
Wow.
So entrepreneurial spirit has always been within me. In regards more specifically to property, well, if I go back to the slides I shared about why property. Firstly, about cash flow. Cash flow is important for everyone. We all need money. With property, you're not limited. The more units you have, the more cash flow you receive. I was always interested in being able to create generational wealth, not only for myself, but to be able to pass on to future generations. I didn't want me to just be here and then within 2 generations I'll be forgotten. I always wanted to be able to be remembered by future generations for leaving an impact, and I feel property is one of the greatest investment vehicles in being able to do that. So I'd say those are my main motivations. Also, I think it's quite fun being able to renovate a tired, dilapidated house and seeing it as a finished product. Yeah, something I've always sort of kept an eye on, watching programs such as Homes Under the Hammer from time to time. So yeah, I think that's answered Aryan's question.
Yeah, definitely. Hope, Arjun, that's answered your question. And if you have anything else, maybe you can ask question as well. I was happy with your answer. So there is, okay, yeah, he just replied. Thanks, Mark. So there is another question from Neha. Just a question: how did you started in this field of investment, and what was your first investment related to this field in property?
Thank you, Niman. Another great question. So I've actually not started investing in property. As I mentioned, my company, Gitari Property Shield, was only launched 6 days ago. So we're just in the initial stages of setting up the company, doing all the compliance. So I actually haven't started any investment properties, but within the next year, we're hoping to do 1 or 2 developments like the pictures I shared. So it'll be taking a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom house, converting it into a 5-6 bedroom multi-let HMO.
Perfect, thank you. There is another question from NJ. I'm not sure if that is the name, but sorry. So could you please explain what all projects you visited last Thursday when you did the site visit? Which stages was this properties, and how did you feel after visiting those projects?
Cool, another great question. So it was actually last Friday. Me and Jito and Maziano all met up in Coventry. We went to visit 4 properties. So the first one that we viewed was a project which is just currently underway, which is under construction. And that was the 2 pictures which I shared on my screen previously. So the house is literally being fully stripped back, and the builders are on site converting the house. It was a 2-bedroom single or 2-bedroom property, and it's now being converted into a 5-bedroom multi-let HMO. The second property we went to view was a finished project, which is now tenanted by professionals. So it was, again, a 2-bedroom house, which was converted into a 5-bedroom HMO. And the second and third project were actually opposite each other on the same street. So they were both similar projects. They were 2-bedroom HMOs, which were converted into 5-bedroom, 2-bedroom singlets converted into 5-bedroom HMOs. And the final property we went to see was actually a project which was only the transaction of property was only completed within the last month. So there was actually still a tenant living in the property. No work had started on that, but we met up with the builder to see what we could do with the property, and how we're gonna, or how Project Possible team will develop the project. So I'm hoping if I get another chance to speak on this platform, I'll be able to share more pictures, more videos of the projects that Gitari Property Shield will have. And in regards to how did I feel, firstly, it was very cold. It was a very cold day, but in terms of the viewing the properties, it gave me a lot of insight. I'm sure if you took a random person off the street and asked them, can you turn a 2-bedroom house into a 5-bedroom ensuite, you'd get some very funny looks. So it gave me some belief at the projects which I'll be working on over the next few months, and also it got me excited about the possibilities. You're only limited by your imagination and by your mind. So it definitely made me feel really excited about the future and all the development deals that we'll be doing at Gitari Property Shield.
Perfect. Great.
I have one question, Mark. As you said, you have done all these trainings, and you have like-minded people around you, and also guidance, like you have Jito and also Project Possible team with you. So I just want to know, how important it is for the beginners that to have that guidance, because sometimes people think, oh, it is just an investment in the property. So they can just go around, find some information, and then they can get involved in the property investment. So they can do their investment in the property. But for the right investment, how it is important actually to have that guidance from the experienced person. So that's my question. So how do you feel that when you get that, and you know that you can make your decision comfortably because you know that you're going at the right direction?
Thank you, Paris. Another great question. In regards to having a team around you, I think having a mentor is really important. Someone who's been in where you've been, who's been in your footsteps, who can guide you, who can pull you in the right direction when you're sort of going the wrong way. And that, excuse me, that is another reason, as I mentioned, why I wanted to do a joint venture. It's quite easy to get distracted with things at home, things at work, whereas when you have a mentor, someone who's been there before you, they can sort of not I wouldn't say hold your hand, but sort of give you a rough blueprint, and then it's up to you to action it. And you have to be accountable to that person. So I hope that's answered your question.
Yes, it is. Yes, because when I started as well, I was feeling, oh, it's just a property investment, we can do it. But definitely it's very important to know from the experts that you are making the right investment, and it's not going to be stuck with your money, or the property is not going to give you that that feeling that your money is going to be stuck in the deal. So that is very much important.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing I would add as well, property people are investing a lot of money, so it's not something you want to make big mistakes on. Yes. There's a lot at stake. So having someone who does have that experience, who does have knowledge, is important, because you don't want to be in a position where you have investors' capital and you're unsure of what you're doing.
Yeah, true. Thank you, Mark.
Especially with HMOs as well, isn't it? Like once you remortgage them, and once you're on a mortgage product and you are liable to pay like £800, £700 mortgage, and if you're not able to fill those rooms, then that is a loss to the business. So you need to make sure that the properties are in right location, properties are desirable product. So that's where all the knowledge, learnings and trainings and everything comes into place, because if you are not building the product which is going to be sold out, or the rooms are going to let out, then you are building a business which will be in loss. So you need to make sure that you do all your research. Otherwise, all the money which you're going to put in is definitely not going to make that returns which you were thinking about in first place. So definitely need that knowledge, isn't it? So yeah, there is another great question speaking about all your plans about investments and going into HMO strategy first, and then maybe going into development strategies. I'm sure there is a lot of money going to be required to get into these deals, right? So the next question is about that. When you don't have sufficient funds, or how how will you bring funds to do all this strategy? And if you don't have sufficient funds, what strategy you can apply?
Another great question. Thank you, Namain. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So in regards to funding projects, well, our strategy at Gitari Property Shield is to raise capital through investors. As I mentioned in one of my slides, I've given a few reasons why investors would want to invest with Gitari Property Shield, beating current rates of inflation, higher interest rates in the bank. And a lot of people have money sitting in the bank, earning effectively nothing on their money. Their money's not working for them. So that will be our main strategy of getting funds for the projects, through raising capital through investors.
Okay, yeah, definitely, because you need to make sure that the funds are working hard. So if you're just keeping the money in the bank, you're not getting any good returns. So if you can find somebody like you who are putting the funds into development, and you're giving them returns as well, so it's like win-win situations. And do you also offer, maybe if somebody wants to invest in your developments, and obviously you will be offering them the returns and everything, so can they also have an opportunity to learn on the side? Maybe they can come to your projects, they can visit, and they can also learn while they are investing.
Absolutely. I'd love to connect with anyone to try and help their needs, whether that be they just want to invest, or they want to invest as well as learn on the side. Hopefully the Project Possible team will share my social media contact details with everyone, and I'd love to connect and be able to see how I can help everyone's needs.
Yeah,
I think the man's put another question, or added up to this question, but I don't want any investors then. It's a good point.
If they don't have any investors.
I don't know if they mean I don't want or I don't have.
Maybe.
Okay.
If they don't have any investors. What are the different ways where the money can come for the deals?
Yeah, absolutely. So at Gitari Property Shield, we're firstly trying to be visible across all social media platforms, so everyone knows what we're doing. There's no hiding what we're doing. It's out there for everyone to see, that we raise finance through investors. We give them a fixed return, and these are the projects that we're working on. These are the projects that we've done. So that, like I said, that's how we'll be raising finance. If you don't have any investors at the minute, that's one strategy, through social media. Another strategy is through your warm market, people you know, having conversations. Over the last week, I've had a few conversations with just some people in my immediate family, and you'll be surprised the money some people have you wouldn't even know they have just lying around. So there is definitely lots of strategies. I probably won't go into absolutely every one here, but I'd be more than happy to take any questions, either through any of the social medias, emails, or phone call.
Hi, Mark. This is Sajal here. I'm Neha's friend. So actually, I'm also trying to get some information on all this thing. I think it's pretty interesting, and thank you for your answers. So like I posted where I said, in case I do not want any investor, you said you're not trying out social platform, but as an individual who is just a salaried person, how do you get going? Obviously, when you say you have to save, but if I'm like I really want to get into it, probably start with something to have of my own. What would you suggest to build a strategy and how to go about that? Because like you said, probably that particular house would be firstly for myself, and then I would want to expand, probably putting out for rents and all those things. So what would you recommend on there?
It's a very good question. I don't know if I understood it correctly. Maybe Jito can just take that one, because I didn't want to give you any misinformation just because I don't think I understood correctly.
Yeah, Mark, I think there are two parts of that question. One is if someone is working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and has like limited resource to invest into property, what we should do. That's one part of the question. And the second part of the question is, I want to buy my own house, like start my property ladder journey to go to like my own residence, and then start investing into letting out properties. Now, the first part of the question is quite important. In fact, if we get that answered, the second part automatically gets resolved. I'm 9 to 5. I started my career in Barclays 12 years back, 2010. And my first few years, 2010, 2011, 2012, 3 years, I was saving money. Yeah, I was saying, and 2013, we kind of eventually brought our first property in London. Now, then that's the normal way of doing things. Yeah? So you work hard, you spend less, you save as much you can, and then like you buy your first house with that. That's exactly what I did, and millions of people all over the world, that's exactly what they do. And our parents, our teachers, everyone teaches the same. You get a good job, you get a good income, you save money, and then you buy your first house, and then you start your family, or you start your family, but you get your first house. That's kind of a traditional way of thinking. Now, what you need to understand is, I started going for training. I realized that with this limited income, what I have from Barclays or any full-time job is not enough for me to scale in the property journey. And I need to learn from people who have managed to do a portfolio of 100, 200, 300. Not just, I managed to find out one person who had 1,600 houses. Yeah, not one or two. And I went and asked the same question. How did you manage to do this 1,600 houses with this 9 to 5 job or whatever? And he told me, Jito, you at least have a 9 to 5 job. You work in Barclays headquarters. You're like, I am a farmer. I came from Wales. I only know how to sell milk. That's it. And if I can do 1,600 houses, you can also do. And then he took me under his wings. I worked with him for almost kind of 2 years. And during that 2 years, he strictly told me not to invest in any property. He told me how attractive the deal comes, not to invest. First, learn. And then once you learn, then you can earn. And once you earn, you can invest. And I religiously trusted him. I just thought that God has brought this person into my life. I need to trust him. I followed that. And for almost 2 years, from 2013, 14, 15, 2 years, I was attending trainings, going through the site visits, learning on hand, visiting different projects. And eventually I realized why this person told me that I should not be investing. I should be learning first. So I will suggest you that you should invest your time. That is what you have. Yeah, not the limited resource, or not. Don't think about the limited income you have. Think about the time what you have, and think about investing the time into learning about property. One of the first book where I started off was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'll suggest get this book. It costs you not more than £5. In case you can get that, start from there. That was the first book suggested to me, and I read that book, and there are plenty of strategies out there where you can start investing into property, but you need to learn first. Then only you can earn, and then only you can invest. And I think once you start earning and investing, then you can have your own house. You can have multiple properties. That resolves this whole mystery. So the key is knowledge, and not just the knowledge, the application of knowledge. I think that's the answer.
Fair enough. That does answer my question. Thank you so much.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jito. Do we have any other questions? How are we doing on time, Sujan?
Yeah, we can go to the next.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much, Mark, for your presentation. And thank you very much, everyone who got involved in asking questions. Hope Mark has given you some guidance on your questions, and hope they were answered. Perfect. Thank you very much. So over to you, Jito, for the next presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. And I think one thing you guys have heard it clearly or not, I don't know. But Mark is 23 years old. Yeah? Mark is 23 years old, and he's so passionate, so focused. At that age, I had so many distractions, to be honest. Yeah, those years were a lot of distractions. But when I see Mark, the way he is focused, not only just in property, in his job, in his so many other part of, I know him as person, and I'll say that kind of commitment is next level. Like people want to invest not into a property or anything. People want to invest in you. That is what investment happens. So you have to become someone that people can find value in you, that they want to invest in you. And I can see real value. That's the reason I decided to invest my time and effort into Mark and become part of his success. And I'm sure there will be, you just need few people who can see that value in you. And you are amazing, Mark. So thanks for taking this virtual platform and sharing your journey and the passion I can see, the focus you can see. And with that, you will go extra mile. So all the best, Mark, for your journey. Now, I take this opportunity to introduce our next speaker, Maziano. Now, it's been, I think, almost 10 years back. I met Maziano in one of the Jesus Youth retreat or a kind of get together, wherein we went there for a few days and we spent time in reflection and kind of growing in our missionary zeal. And that's where I met Maziano for the first time. And he was a completely different person at that time. Yeah. Now he's very health conscious. In fact, I'm a bit jealous about it. I need to learn from him how he manages to keep himself that fit. He might drop that somewhere in his presentation, how he managed to do that. But Mazio is the director of Oasis Dwellings. After 10 years, few months back, like I think I'm sure Bijoy Matthew is on this call. He's one of our elders, and he introduced Mazio, or reconnected me to Mazio again after 10 years. And that's how God works. He kind of works in a mysterious way and connects the people again if they are part of your mission. And Mazio has been working with BT for 12 years. He has a young family, 3 lovely children, and he kind of travels across UK, does missionary work, and he loves to do DJ. So if anyone wants to kind of have a DJ, you got a DJ in the house. So that's Maziano. And what Mazio is going to do for the first time, he's also going to share his property journey with us. And we are blessed to have him on a short notice that he had, and he kind of agreed to come on this platform and share his journey. So Maziano, on that note, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Jito, for the introduction. Guys, I'll quickly say, about me. You'll think I look brown, I'm from an Indian background, but why the name Maziano Guedes? So I come from a part in India which was colonized, or part of the Portuguese empire called Daman, or in Portuguese, Damão. But I moved to England 25 years ago. So it'll be 25 years ago in 2 days, 18th of Feb. So so I moved to England. Like Jito said, I'm married. I have 3 beautiful children. And like Jito said, I love my DJ. I love my missionary work. My faith is a big part of my life. I think without my faith, I wouldn't be here. Not even in this property journey, not even even where I am today. So it's a big part of my journey. Jito, next slide, please. Yeah. So how it all started. So I got married, and after getting married, I had a bit of extra cash lying about with me, and I said, what can I do with this extra cash? And so I went and bought a house. Rented it to a friend. So I knew nothing about property, so I was an accidental landlord, like they say. And I wish I'd read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. So Jito just mentioned Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I've got Robert Kiyosaki's picture here, the second picture. So I recommend everyone, even children, to read his book, because the system we're in, they will never teach you that sort of concept. So I was an accidental landlord, knew nothing about property, and then my brother took, I think, the same course where Jito and Mark did the same course with the same person. I think he's, briefly said to me, why don't you look into property or, further into more details? And that's when it clicked. So I watched a few online videos, free online videos on YouTube and things. And I think at that moment, property really clicked with me. So anything you do in life, I think, guys, it needs to click with you one. And like Jito said, don't get into something where you don't know. So with any business, I'm not saying property is the best business, but for me, property clicked. And if you don't understand about a business model, how it works, don't get into it, because we're or be prepared to fail, because you're setting yourself to fail without knowledge. So I decided to take a few courses, not the very expensive one, but because I didn't have much fun at the time. So I took the course, and that's when I decided, I can start scaling up my property journey. I think I've put the 4 boxes down to illustrate that we all need to have a dream first, guys. We need to have a purpose. I think without a purpose, we're just, imagine put in a sat nav on Google without a destination. You'll be going all over the place. So I think you need to have a dream. Then you need to convert your dream into a goal. What is your goal? What do you want to achieve? What is your purpose in life? And my biggest purpose in life was to be a missionary, to go out and help people around the world, wherever they are. And we were convinced as a family that we are missionary families. So have a goal. The next thing is to have a plan. How are you going to achieve the plan? How are you going to do it? Because you can't just roll out your bed thinking everything's going to happen. So you need to have a plan. And I think Jito and Mark alluded to it, that you need to have action. Without action, you're never going to achieve anything you set out in life. So when I worked my 9-to-5 job, I was thinking, isn't there more to life than just working 9-to-5? And then you're constantly on this rat race, right? Trying to please everyone, trying to do things that maybe you don't like. And that's when I realized that I'm sure there's something more to life. There's something more that, we can do. And I think, it's funny, well, if I may quote, there's a quote in the Bible that says, seek and you shall find. And I started seeking. And I think God sends you the right people, the right course, the right things in your life once you start seeking properly. And I think that, and then Jito said about the diet thing. So, I set out to see what are the 5 most important things in my life. So I said, one of them was my family. One of them was my career. One of them was my wealth. One of them was my health. And so simply the answer was, what if your family is good, but then your health is not good? But what if your health is good and your career is not good? So I think each one of us, we need a balance in everything that we do. And I think, the society we're in, I think that they don't teach us or inform us well enough so that we are constant with our wealth, with our family, with your health, and those aspects of life, which I think is very important. So from there, you see that's my brother. The first picture, Robert Kiyosaki, is the guy who I think is a great role model for a lot of people. The third one is Simon Zutchiu. By the way, guys, I'm not getting paid to mention their names, so don't think that I'm doing anything for them. And then the next one, Napoleon Hill, great books. If you like read, I never used to like reading books, but I think once I started reading their stories, their book, their mindset, I think it all starts with your mindset. If you can't change your mindset, if you can't discipline yourself, I don't think any journey is good enough or will be easy. And guys, please be warned. There are lots of people now on Facebook and YouTube saying to you, "Oh, property, flashing big cars." For me, I think they're lying or either making it up, because it's a long-term journey. You need to know the right people, the right team. You know, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight. It's hard work, but you just need to put your heart into it. So, you know, this is my journey, and not necessarily whoever thinks they can get rich overnight or wealthy overnight. Jito, next slide, please. Yeah, so this is some of my project. So the mistakes I did as a amateur landlord, the first 2 projects I did, I didn't take any pictures. So that was a big mistake. And now I can't go in to take pictures because they're all tenanted. So this is one of my projects. Well, this is actually my house where I live in. This is, I love design. I love even the palette you can see on the wall is all done by me, by myself, and my wife helped me. So she'll be listening on YouTube, I think. So well done, Joe. So yeah, I love designing. I like to convert things. Actually, by profession, I studied engineering, so I think I've got the engineering mindset as well. But yeah, I love, like I said, property needs to click into. So property clicked, and yeah, I got into designing things and making things look nice. So this property, as you can see, was very simple, plain, basic. With the skills and knowledge you learn, I was able to buy this property in a booming market. If you know, Leicester is quite an expensive place to live in. I got this property for, I think, minus £20,000. So I saved £20,000 on the profit. I turned around the whole project within 6 weeks. I just managed the project and got the guys. So this is, it took me 6 weeks, and we completely moved in 6 weeks. Jito, if you take us to the next slide, please. This is another property I took in. Yeah, similarly, it's not a very expensive project yet, but this property I managed to turn over in 2 weeks' time with the right people. I just project managed it, and our main focus. So I've not been to many rental properties, but around in Leicester, some of the quality of the rental properties are disgraceful. And my motto in life was, how can I provide rental properties to others where I wouldn't live in? So my motto is simple: to have elegant, ethical, and quality living. So it's no point providing, these are people we're dealing with, people with emotions. So I want to provide the best quality living for people. And that's what I do. I try to stay on top of things. If anything breaks, I try to fix it. So this is my motto. And I think, the pictures speak volumes, and all my tenants are happy. They never have any complaints. So you look after them, they look after you. The next slide, please. Yeah. So how Oasis Dwelling started. And I've put at the bottom of the slide, never make any decision when you're emotional. So it was at work that I experienced a bit of a rift at work with one of the managers. And I came home really angry. And I said, how long am I going to go on for with this kind of situation? So I came home, paid an extortionate amount for a course. And then it never took off. So Oasis Dwellings were, I think in June, I started the company, but it never took off. And I said, you know what, I'll carry on doing my buy-to-lets, the way I was doing with my other projects. And I think that's when God came in. I think, very important when Jito said, God introduced you to the right people at the right time. And that's when it came in. And that's when I started speaking to Jito through Bijoy, who's the director of Eddy Properties. And that's how we collaborated and said, let's do it together. Why don't we start projects on a bigger scale? I think I'm personally ready to move on a bigger scale. And my biggest learning from this property journey is, guys, or any business that you would like to do, is never make any decision when you're emotional. Your decision should be based on calculated risk. Guys, any business is risky, but I believe, in our property journey, we always make calculated risk. Like Mark was saying, I think we're dealing with big money. Some people will be lending us big money, so we can't just mess around with big money. We need to be liable. We need to have ownership with this money, treat it as if it's our own. So so never make any decision when you're emotional. So the next slide, please, Jito. So as you can see on the picture, why to get involved? I think Mark covered a lot of things on his presentation. Is simply to get better returns on your investment. I think the UK just announced 5.5% inflation rate. So guys, the money you have in your bank is losing its value, is losing its purchasing power every single year. It's because they're printing more and more money every year. So we definitely give better returns. And it's not just about the returns, it's about the emotional side. Like I said, we're providing jobs into the economy. We're looking after people, giving people better, good quality housing. So it's all about building the economy. We together are building good economy, to the city, to the country, and then also whoever works with us will be giving better returns. And the good thing about property is it's solid asset. It's not something flying on a paper or something someone's made up something. It's solid asset. So you will be involved with the property. You'll have charge with the property if you invest with us. So guys, if you know anyone or anyone listening, if you'd like to know more, please get in touch. And we're all learning. And guys, this is another thing. If you think you know it all, you're in the wrong business. Because every single day I wake up, I want to learn more. And the day you think that you know it all, I think that's the end of your road. I'm sorry to say, because technology, everything is moving so fast. We need to be learning every single day. So Jito, next slide, please. And this is, if you want to get into touch with us, Facebook, Insta, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And also my email address is oasis.dwellings@gmail.com. So please, follow us. I'll be posting a lot of content, some of the knowledge and skills that I know or I understand, and also the projects that will be kicking off hopefully soon. So that's my presentation, guys. Thank you for listening. Back to Kushal, I think.
Thank you very much, Mariano. It was really nice. Like I went into that phase where I was thinking about philosophy and all those things. I felt like I should keep on listening to you. You were telling so many nice things about health, property, and all these connections. So I felt like, wow, it was really nice. So thank you about that. And you really mentioned some really important points about, like, we need to focus on important things and why we are getting into property, and what are the important things like wealth, health, family. And I like your thinking about, like, it's not about just providing accommodation, but it's about providing quality homes. As we are dealing with tenants, like, people are going to live there. So we need to be a good landlord and provide them like good quality accommodations, which you are doing. So that's really good thinking behind that as well. And definitely one point which you mentioned, that people who think like it is a get rich scheme. So I'll definitely vouch for that. Like, it is definitely not get rich scheme, because we are also doing that. We have also been involved in this property journey. And I tell you, it is definitely hard work. You need to speak to so many people, you need to attend so many networking events, you need to have the knowledge, you need to, it is like a jigsaw, you need to combine all the parts together, then the project will get completed. So it's definitely not like you get involved and you get millionaire like in 1 year. So
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing light on that part as well. And I really like your thinking and the way you are going ahead with the property. I'm sure you'll have a lot of success doing that. Perfect, guys. So thank you for listening in, and hope you also felt like a bit of a philosophical journey which Mazino took us, including property. So this was really new to me as well. So guys, this is the chance to ask questions. Maziano has got a lot of experience in buy-to-let, I think so, isn't it, Maziano?
Yeah.
And now venturing into HMO side of things. So this is the chance to ask questions. Any questions are welcome. Just put into the chat, or maybe you can unmute yourself and ask the questions as well. Maybe I can start, as people always take time to little bit warm up. So I'll give them the chance to warm up. Okay. So Maziano, you started in buy-to-let, you said. So the first property which you purchased was a simple, like you put down the deposit, and was that requiring any refurb work, the first property which you took, or was it like simple purchase it and give it out to the tenants? And how did you then eventually start getting involved into like doing works, like getting involved into projects which need doing work? So how did that transition happen?
Yeah, so it's a great question, because I never had my hands dirty in the property. So yeah, like you said, I just bought the first property, and I think the third day someone moved in. So I didn't get any chance to to do anything up, or I didn't even know that about refurbishment. And it's only when I was living at my other property at the time, when I had my first-hand experience with, working on the actual project. So I managed everything from, from the flooring, from color scheme. And I wish I had some pictures, because it was a really nice project. But that project took me 6 months. And we were all living in the attic for 6 months, including my 2 children. So yeah, like you said, it wasn't easy. It's definitely a transition period. I think with property, you can either take the 2 journeys. I think it's one where you trial and learn yourself, where it takes longer, which is a good example of what I did 6 months ago. But once you know what you're doing, my second project only took me 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 weeks. So you can imagine, because you know what you're doing, the time frame goes down. And similarly, what Jito was saying, he spent time with his mentor for 2 years, just following around, looking at things, how it's been done. And it's the same story, right? And that's how you learn. It's just like driving a car. You can't just sit in a car and say, that's it, I know how to drive a car. It takes time, it takes lesson. And similarly with driving a car, you can't drive a car just knowing the practical side of things, right? Or the theory side of things. So you can't just read a book and say, I know how to drive a car. And it's similarly to, you can't just take a course and think that, oh yeah, I can drive a car now. So yeah, so it's all about trial, learning, patience, I think, is the big thing. You will fail, but you just need to get up and keep going. There was times where, I nearly cried because things weren't working out to plan. Sometimes the builder wouldn't turn up on time, money issues. But I think the end thing that you see when it's all complete, it's so relieving, so nice when it's all completed. So it's all that tears, sweat, that you put into it, and then the reward is massive.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
hope that answered.
Yeah, definitely. I think one point you mentioned in your presentation as well, it's all about taking the calculated risk as well. So if you don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing and if you get involved in that, I think you mentioned that as well. So I'm just
Yeah.
repeating whatever you were mentioning, but
Yeah.
that answers the question which you have already
Yeah.
said. So if you don't know and if you get involved into projects, you might end up, as you were saying, like you ended up in that project, which was a simple project. It took like 6 months for you, and you were living in
Yeah.
a small room with your family. So that's again like you need to have the right power team, you need to have the right contacts, and you need to have the right knowledge to go and do the projects. If you just straight
Yeah.
away go to these projects, then you'll burn your hands. So you better take the knowledge first, as everybody in the Project Possible team always says, like, take the knowledge. We are here to give the knowledge as well, and it's freely available. So guys, take this opportunity, ask the questions to the presenters, and I'm sure you'll do good in properties. So I really like the journey which you're taking, Maziano. So
Yeah.
good. Yeah, thank you. Any questions, guys? So Maziano, is it always in Leicester which you are investing into, right?
So yeah, we've got 3 properties in Leicester, and you know, which I think I never imagined Leicester going up so much in value. But there you go. Property is a good, I think, investment against inflation. Yeah. So and I've got one up north, which is not an expensive property, but yeah. So I started going out, you know, once I was comfortable with this buy-to-let journey. But then when I was about to start the other project, you know, that's how I was introduced to Jito, and then I took a step back. Yeah.
So would you like to share a little bit of your joint venture structure and how it is structured? Maybe that will help people as well.
Yeah, so I think mainly a good joint venture normally works out at 50-50. So, you know, I'm working with Jito, and which is part of Eddie's properties. So me and my wife, we own 50% of the property, and then Eddie property would own the other 50. Yeah, so we're in the process of raising capital, and like Mark said, you'll be surprised of how much money is sitting on people's bank account. So and it's true, the bank's giving you peanuts, not even 0 point whatever percent. So it's about raising the capital and then using the capital for the projects. And the good thing about, you know, our property journey is that everyone is a winner. So the people who's investing, they make some money. We make some money as the owner of the business, and the, you know, the people involved in the project. So it's contributing everywhere. So it's a good all-round structure, I believe.
When you're saying that you will be raising finance for these projects, and you're out there like raising finance, speaking to your family members, your friends and family, so how will somebody trust you with your money, and what kind of securities you'll be offering them? Because it's the money which they are lending you. So how can anybody trust in you, and the projects which you are doing are definitely going to deliver, or what securities and what guarantees you'll be offering them?
Yeah, so I think Jito, I think, said that people should definitely, number one, trust you with their money. So I think there's an element of your character, right, in the community and the family. So if people know who you are, they know your ethics, you know, they know you for years, and then people can trust you with their money. And secondly is that with the social media platform, you can start posting about your projects, right? What you're involved with, what's the stage of the project. And then the best thing about our project is that when they lend us money, we sign a contract with them. So, it's all documented, and we're also registered with HMRC for money laundering. So, I think we're the safest as possible. We do our due diligence properly. I think Jito used the term, if you want to do due diligence on me, I've been with Barclays for 10 years. And similarly, I've been with BT for so many years. So, it's the element of trust. I think that's number one in any journey you do. Why would people even give you 10 pounds, to borrow? It's the element of trust that they have in you. How are you involved in the community? What are you offering to the community? And I think once you put it out there, people trust you that this person is credible. I want to work with this person. And I think Project Possible is doing another brilliant thing by providing free content. The amount of free content, people sometimes pay thousands to get the free content. So it's all about being credible in the society. And I think it's a two-way system. Once you start giving, you start receiving. There's never been anywhere where you just give and not receive. So it's all about giving to the community and you receive in return.
Definitely, I agree. Whatever you say, it's all definitely the things. Whatever you put out there, you need to help people to receive the trust and everything.
Yeah,
so definitely a good answer there. Questions? I can't see any questions, so maybe people are happy.
I have one question. Sorry.
Yeah, go on, Happy.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, what you will suggest to beginner like me, me and my husband, like we just bought like one, like buy-to-let property where we paid 25% deposit, and we are getting like very small amount of money. Okay, but like I want to do like HMO, and like flip and like things like that. But like for me, like for example, like I have two ways to do it. Okay, like I can do my research, I can study, then I can do it by myself, like starting from finding the like properties, and then obviously the builder who will build the property, then applying for permission and everything. Okay, then there is other way. For example, like you, okay, like you guys are doing, like I have seen your projects and you're doing like very good, whatever you're doing. So then like I can work with you, like maybe like I can hire any agency. Okay, I can ask them for like deal packaging, or I can ask them to find a property for us. Okay, so like what is the like which way I should choose? Because what you mentioned, okay, about that car driving, like if you read a book and if you drive a car, that is not going to happen. Then so what, am I making sense?
Yeah, you are perfect. So Arti, I don't know Arti, your name.
Arti, Arti.
I don't know if you heard my initial slides where you have a dream, you have a goal, plan and action. I think when I started in 2014, I started accidentally. It was only the last 3 years, I think, where I started aggressively progressing with my, property journey. What I learned, and this is not the answer that might fit you, but this is, my journey. I think it's very important for me to learn one strategy at a time. I think for me, buy to let, I knew what I was doing. I knew with my figures were right. I knew it will work out with the monthly rental that I was asking for. And believe me, some of the agents that I went to speak to, all of them underquoted me the rent, saying by £100. They said, oh, this property will get, but I believed in myself that the quality I'm providing I could up the rent by at least £100 on, all my properties. And guess what? Within weeks, within days, they all went. So I think it's important to learn your strategy, what you want to do, one strategy at a time, because you'll just be my brother used this phrase with me once. He says, you'll be a busy idiot because you're just in so many different directions, trying to look for one strategy, then moving into another. And similarly, once you've learned your strategy, and like I said, take it, pace it out one step at a time. I think the next one is then finding the right people to work with you. And in this world we live in, there's a lot of people trying to do shortcuts or whatever, what I'm trying to say. So it's making those contacts, working with people, knowing them, understanding them, and then eventually you'll find someone that you can work with. Or initially you'll say, what, why don't I invest the money where it makes me money, but at the same time I learn with them, journey with them, and then down the line I can start investing the same on a joint venture with someone. Maybe I don't know if I've answered your question, but I think that's where I would do things, and that's how I see things.
Thank you.
So hope that answered your question, Aarti. And if you have any further questions, you can reach out to any of the Project Possible team members, and they can always help. And we are always trying to bring different speakers who have different experience. So you can always feel free to ask questions. Okay. Any more questions, guys? Oh, we do with time.
Some time for question and answer,
Okay.
if you have any.
So maybe you have any questions?
I think we can move to the next bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Perfect. If nobody has any questions, then let's move on. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Mariano, for interesting slides, and definitely you helped a lot of people with their questions which they have in their mind and regarding investing. So as I said, like it is a kind of jigsaw, or when you're doing a projects, which is a development project, you need to make sure you have everything in place to deliver that project and deliver that project in time. So you need to have the knowledge, you need to have the right power team, you need to get into the right property, and then there are a lot of parts. So this is I'll keep on going if I keep doing that. But I would like to mention that Project Possible is here to help you, even though you can find the Project Possible, any team members, they are here to, they have got experience, they have done the projects. You can maybe lend the money out, and there is an option of you getting involved into the projects where you can lend the money out. They can give you the fixed returns, which our speakers have also said, like this is how the raising finance thing to work, because they can use your money, put into the developments, they can do the development on the side. You also get to come on the projects, you get to get the experience which you need. You can get to ask all the questions. You need to. You can also use the power teams, which we always use. So you get to see the whole picture, like starting up from finding the property and till the end when the product is being delivered, like the project has been delivered, when the tenants are in the property, and when it is cash flowing. So you get to see everything. And the money which you have lended, it is also working hard. So what else you need, isn't it? So the money is also making money, and you're getting the experience as well. So that's one thing which Project Possible is also offering. And there is another option where you can joint venture. So maybe forming a company, set up like 50% shareholders, where one person is taking the responsibility of bringing the funds in the deal, and the other person is taking responsibility of using the knowledge, experience, and the context which they have generated by being in this field for a long time. So we in Project Possible team can also help you with this. And if you are a beginner and want to get involved into developments, or if you want to get on the property ladder as well, feel free to ask any questions, get involved, get connected with people, start networking. And I'm sure there is a lot to life than just 9-to-5 job. So that's where I land. And then I'll give it to you back to Jito. Then maybe you can take over.
Thank you, Kushal. Thanks, Maziano, for sharing that your journey, because for a lot of new people, it's very helpful when someone is just started off and you are showing or sharing your journey, because a lot of people are there who wants to see it. They are like kind of standing outside, and they are seeing that, oh, this is happening. Someone is starting, they are scaling up, they have done their first project, and they have dreams and aspirations, but they don't have that push or that confidence that they can also do it. And listening to stories like Mark and Mazio, that's where they will get inspired. Okay, if Mazio can do it, if Mark can do it, then I can also do it. And I think sometimes it's the doubts you have, or people have, or that's what kills your dreams. The doubts are the biggest killer of your dreams. So you need to kind of kill that voice, that doubt from you, and then just focus and take actions. Now, I know a lot of people who are more talented than me, or Mazio, or Mark, or any one of you on this game. They are more educated, they have more money with them, and I know that potentially they can do far, far better than what any one of us can do. But what lacks is action. Yeah. They lack action, and they just can't take action. That's where the equation changes in this world. And the people who have taken massive actions, they are the people who found right people. So it's like when you are ready to take that action, God brings right people into your life. It just happens. Yeah? The universe works in such a way that only if you are seeking, if you are looking for, then only those things we will be able to see. And those people will connect and things will happen. So it's very important that it's not about you will learn and perfect everything and then you will take action. You need to take action. That's the key here. So with Project Possible, what we have done is we have created this platform wherein we are giving you all these resources, monthly live event where we are inviting experts and sharing all the knowledge what is needed. I know it is a monthly, just 2-hour session. You love to have complete knowledge, but we are here to answer all your questions and continue that journey outside this event as well. So what I'm going to do is announce you who's going to come next month. Now, next month we have Silver Arc. It's not a person, but it's a company. It's a what we say. When for the last 5-6 years, if my business have scaled and I got the right kind of insight, and I realized that making money or developing houses is one thing, but you need to have a very strong team along with you. And I have Silver Arc. In fact, on our panel we got 2 accountancy firm. One accountancy firm focuses on more of bookkeeping and keeping the accounts right. But we have Silver Arc. They work like a consultancy firm. So they advise us about merger and acquisition, about structuring the company, about raising capital, bringing money from abroad, and so many other anti-money laundering things, so many other things. And taxation, that's a huge thing. Taxation, what is taxable, what is not taxable, within the framework of HMRC. So it's very important that next month you will have an opportunity to meet one of the accountant, and I will try my best to get the director of this firm as well. It's a central London based firm. They are very busy professionals. They manage accounts not just for UK based, they manage accounts for global companies as well. And there are some companies which are in the stock market, and they manage their finances and like raising capital and things like that. So not to miss out, next month, I'll announce the date. It is 16th of March next month on a Wednesday, which is the 3rd Wednesday. make sure you book into your diary and you come online, and you will be able to learn a lot of things from an accountancy or from a consultancy point of view when it comes to investing into property. Yeah. The next thing which I want to mention is a massive congratulations, or I will say a massive thank you for all those people who have been active on the Project Possible Club Facebook page. Now, in the last few months, or I could say in the last 6 months, we have already grown to 1,400 members. Now, these are the people who are directly, indirectly have some kind of interest into property. It's a niche set of people who want to learn about property, be part of our journey, help each other, answer the questions. So these are the people who are involved. So 1,400 members are there on the club. So make sure you also join. If you are yet to join, share with your family and friends, and you will have all the latest updates on that Facebook page. We also have our YouTube channel, which crossed 9,600 views, and we have almost 463 subscribers in a short time of 5 to 6 months. So that means a lot of content which we are producing, it's get viewed like 50 times, 100 times a day. In the last 48 hours, our videos were viewed by 109 times. That shows that we are putting away, giving away content for you, value, adding value to you every day. Yeah. So we got more than I think more than 100 plus videos published on our channel. So if you are a beginner and you just want to start those understanding how this works, how these things works, basics, just understanding the basics of property investing and property development, I think this is the best platform. You can go on the YouTube channel, type for Project Possible, and look for 110 videos are currently published on that channel. So, and if you're yet to subscribe the channel, please subscribe. Go through the videos, and if you like some videos, make sure you click on the like. It does help with the algorithm, and do share with family and friends, because a lot of people think that property is for rich people. Property is you need surplus money. There are so many myths out there, and listening to these videos and this trainings, you will understand that it is possible. And that's the reason we gave our initiative Project Possible. Every person, it is possible for you to start this journey. It might be a small steps, but those small steps will take you to bigger steps. Until you don't take that step, you are not going to make it to the bigger ones. Yeah, you can't go directly and land into a bigger project. You have to start those baby steps, those small steps leading to a bigger projects. Okay, so the next slide is a massive thank you. But what I'll do is I'll hand over to Pari, who will take the vote of thanks for the entire on behalf of the entire team. But once again, Mark, Mazio, you guys are an inspiration, and thank you for coming and sharing this with us, and all those people who have joined. I know from different part of the world. It's thank you. But Pari, please take the vote of thanks, and we'll conclude. Pari, over to you.
Thank you so much, Jito. Thank you. And yes, guys, it was really very exciting session because Mark shared his journey, and he shared his, his first steps, as he is also in the baby steps currently. But we are here for him, and also we are also taking trainings from our experts. So if you have any questions in mind, or if you want to join us, or if you want to step ahead in your property journey, then please do contact us. We are here to help you. Same with Maziano. I mean, this guy, it just reminded me of my early days of trainings, and also the mindset and things like that. So it just very good session. Thank you so much, Maziano, and thank you so much, Mark, for sharing your experience, your journey with us. And thank you guys for joining us here tonight. I know you have taken time from your busy schedule and you joined us here on Project Possible. And huge thank you for the Project Possible team, because these guys are just incredible all the time, because whenever we need a help, these guys are always ready. So Project Possible team is ready, and for you as well, we are here and ready. So thank you, Project Possible team. Thank you to our experts, and thank you for our audience to joining us. So thank you guys for having another great session tonight. Thank you. Bye. See you on the next. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.